welcome back to the IROC Business with Confidence podcast, your go-to resource for monetizing your passions while keeping your budget in mind. I'm your host, Corey Pongo Foster, transformational speaker, certified business coach, trainer, and CEO of IROC Marketable Business Solutions. In today's episode, we have a phenomenal guest joining us. Please welcome Sacha Walton, a business strategist and CEO of SWI Management Group. Sacha specializes in helping entrepreneurs, especially women and creatives, build businesses for sustainable growth while prioritizing mental wellness. Sacha is an author of The Ugly Truth About Entrepreneurship, Keys to Managing Mental Wellness, a book that has made her a prominent voice in disrupting the narrative around holistic entrepreneurship and mental health. Her insights and expertise have been featured in Authority Magazine, Forbes, Associated Press, Amazon Live, Roku, Women Rise in Paris, France, and various other stages and media outlets. With captivating topics that empower and transform entrepreneurs, Sacha inspires her audience to prioritize their mental wellness while building successful businesses. In today's episode, we'll be diving into the topic of avoiding burnout through strategic business planning and marketing. Discover how strategic business planning and effective marketing strategies can help entrepreneurs prevent burnout and create sustainable growth. Sacha will share her wisdom and practical advice on how to build a business that supports your mental well-being while achieving your goals. All right, hello guys. Welcome back to the podcast. I am super excited for today's conversation because I have with me my good friend, Sacha Walton. And you just heard in the intro a little bit about her, but just to reiterate, she is a business strategist and CEO of SWI Management Group. And today we are going to be talking about avoiding burnout with strategic business planning and marketing. And I see I have a typo, but that's okay. We're going to move right along. All right. So let me join Sacha here to the session with us. Hi.
Hey, Corey.
I'm so excited you're here because usually we talk about business almost in a vacuum. And today we are going to talk about being a holistic business owner, right? We are not just entrepreneurs. We are, I know for me, I'm a mom, I'm a homeschool mom, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm all the things.
Yes.
And so we are going to talk about how to show up as the best versions of ourselves today and still have sustainable, profitable businesses. So before we get into all the tea, I'm going to let you tell us a little bit more about you and how you got into business.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me on the show, by the way. Yeah, everybody, I've been in this business for over 20 years, and I got started in the most, unorthodox way, just really volunteering. And 20 years ago, and still going strong, even through trials and challenges and everything. But I am Sacha Walton. I am a CEO of SWI Management Group, where we do strategic business planning and event production. But the beautiful part about it is I also have a personal brand. So I have this wonderful ecosystem between my personal brand and the company. So I'm the business strategist, I am the author, the podcast host, international speaker, and that's me on the business side. But I'm also a mom of a 27-year-old daughter. I have a 10-year-old fur baby, and like Corey, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, a family member, all those good things. And I just learned how to navigate that space all together.
Yes, I love that. I think so many of us try to, do it all, but then try to put ourselves in different boxes. And it's like, no, we have to remember that we are full people. And I love how you kind of brushed through the part. She's like, and I'm an author, and then slid through. Let's talk about that, because I was super excited when I saw that you are an author of The Ugly Truth About Entrepreneurship, Keys to Managing Mental Wellness. And that is something we all need. So tell us a little bit about this book and how we can better manage our mental health, ma'am.
Yes, so that book is a compelling story of my journey, actually through the pandemic. That's where it all came from. It was birthed from that issue and situation that I had with the pandemic, negatively impacting my business. Like I said, my business is in event industry, heavily into government contracting and everything, but that industry was hit really hard by the pandemic, and it set my business back. And with that, I had a setback as well. And that's where that whole mental wellness piece became so valuable for me. And, even navigating the space to, relaunch the business and come back out. So it is, a collective of my story. It's an interactive book. So I love being able to say, look, I know I'm not the only person out here that's going through these things or have been through these things. And things are never going to stop happening. Life is all around us. And we are part of that in our businesses as well. And so I just went ahead and just had those hard conversations with myself. Had the hard conversation with myself and eventually pulled out of everything that I went through. But I knew that there were some keys that I held on to that I definitely needed in this new space that I'm in. And that place I will never, I won't say never, that place I will strongly keep away from. I
Amen.
strongly keep away from that. And I'm a firm believer of being able to take your testimony and helping other people. And that's what the book is all about. It's helping others to know that you're not by yourself, that, there are ways for you as an entrepreneur to manage that mental wellness and to prioritize self-care in the midst of it, as well as managing your business and life itself.
I love that. And I think sometimes, and I'm just going to be real, most of our listeners are women. So I think we all can kind of relate. We put ourselves last, right? We put ourselves on the back burner. And I know there have been several times in my personal and my business life where I was feeling like I was trying to pour from that empty cup. I mean, I was tapping it like no drops left. And there was just nothing else because I had given all that I possibly had and more to give. And I think sometimes we need to stop and say, what about me? What am I taking care of myself? Because if I could take care of myself, then I would have more to offer up. And I actually heard a saying, I can't remember where it was from. They said, I don't pour from the cup, I pour from my surplus. Like there's like, I don't want to just be full. I want to pour for the surplus and I want to stay full. And so I think we need to start changing our mentalities, especially as women in business, especially as moms in business, because we are so giving, right? And serving, but who's serving us? Who's feeding us? Who's feeding into us? And I think I love that you're coming to a place of like, look, I've been on this journey. I've been there, done that, not new to this, I'm true to this. And I love that you're so vulnerable to share that with us because we all need to hear that because it's lonely already being an entrepreneur. It's super lonely being a woman entrepreneur. And then tackle on the fact that we're also moms. And I know, look, I know your kid is a little older than mine. I got an 11-year-old. So he's here bothering me all the time. But I feel like all of us who've been moms know, like, you never are not a mom once you are a mom. Like, I know I still bother my mom and I'm in my 30s. Like, hey, mom, I call it my time of need. It's my time of need. Help me. So for the moms listening or for the women listening, how can we be selfish a little bit? How can we make sure we're taking care of us? Because I don't want selfish to be a bad word. People are like, not the S word. But no, how can we be more selfish but not feel guilty about it when it comes to running our business?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is to get rid of the negative mindset around the word selfish. If you know that you're coming from the right place in your heart about it, and it's not like, oh, you're being selfish, like you're in the kindergarten, like, oh, that's mine, I got to take it. But at the same time, I think it's been programming us to look at it as a negative way. But I would say the first step to do is to really change your mindset around it and know that selfishness can be a good thing when it's paired with the right intentions and the right heart behind it. So that looks like you just, in a sense of mompreneurs and entrepreneurs and women out here, you want to be able to say, look, I am going to prioritize self-care. I'm going to prioritize that moment when I need to pull away, because a lot of times we can get burnt out in everything that we do, but we could become numb to being burnt out. And that's why we still continuously go. And then we don't know that we're at that place until it manifests in our body, so it could be us overly tired. It could be, the headaches and everything else that we may experience. So the thing is to first prioritize self-care, whatever that looks like for you. If that says that, at the end of the day, my hours are from 8 to 5. You cut it off at 5 p.m. You deal with the kids, the spouses and everything else. But at a certain time in that evening, it's for you. If that means for you to run that bubble bath and get that glass of wine and just say, look, do not bother me right now, make sure that's for you, because it allows you to recenter yourself, to reground yourself, and also to recharge. So in that way you could go out and continuously be this unstoppable force of a woman that you are in the things that you do.
I love that. And I love that you said you could be numb to burnout, right? Because I always get that. I couldn't imagine doing all that. How do you do it all? And then there's a moment where, because my great grandma used to say she's sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like there's a moment where it catches up to you because you've been so numb for so long that it's like enough. I
Yes.
remember one day, I kid you not, and I'll tell the story. Judge me if you won't, but I don't care. My son was maybe 9 or 10. We were driving down the road, and it was almost like the time where kids start, writing their letters to Santa. I was so overwhelmed and burnt out. I remember looking at him and saying, "Look, Santa Claus ain't real." Like I could not even put forth enough energy. I was like, I'm so burnt out. I cannot put on this
Yeah.
facade this year. And I said it. I was so matter of fact. Like I got to tell you this, bruh. Like me and you. Like I hope you ready because I'm ready. And I was like, Santa Claus ain't real because I literally was so burnt out. I had been numb so long, just driving for it, just pushing for it, that I was like, I cannot go into this season with
Yeah.
energy to even do this. And again, some of you might be like, dang, that's bad. First of all, he was old enough, so leave me alone. But second of all, it was true. I had just reached a point where I could not give not another second. I had been just chugging along, pushing forward. And a lot of you guys are in that space right now where you're just pushing through, just the little internet could, and you are exhausted. You are burning the candle at all the ends, right? The candle is ablaze. And you just don't know what to do. So for those moms that are just at that point, they're at that wit's end, like, what can we do? You know what I mean? We can't stop being moms. We can't stop
Yeah.
being wives or partners. What we gonna do?
And as I was listening to you give the story about you and your son, the thing is, if we, going back to that prioritization, if we put these things in place on a regular basis and make that a part of our habit, then it can minimize us getting to that place when we are at the edge. I know, for an example, when I went through a lot of things with the pandemic and I had my daughter, she was living at home at the time, and I knew I couldn't handle hard conversations. So just like you, Corey, it was just like, you had to be real with it, but you won't just being real about the situations around you or what you're experiencing, but you're at that real place in yourself that's just like, look, I can't do this. And so you have to know your capacity as well. And then when you know that capacity, you're able to maneuver through that on a regular basis. So in that way, you're giving yourself grace in that moment to have that prioritization of self-care, and also to know your capacity of where you are and being real with that before you have to make that known to the people around us. So in a sense, while we're governing ourselves, we give grace to the other people around us as well, because they need it too. They're in this thing with us, and they don't need to get the back end, which will end up being the harder end, of that experience.
Hey man, I like to be real on the podcast. And people who know me know I am very real. I literally have sat in my office, my assistant's here, and I'm like, the next person that do something's gonna get it for everybody else. The next person, whoever's up next, I feel bad for them. And yeah, I feel you, because we get to that point where we're just bubbling up, right? We're just stuffing that stuff in, and then eventually it comes out. And unfortunately, let's be honest, sometimes it comes off on our kids, it comes out to our partners. My husband can be at work for doing a hard day's work, mind his own business. He comes home, I've had a long day of work, and he says hello to me wrong. Like, why are you saying hello to me wrong? But it's not really directed at him. It's more directed to, I am overwhelmed, I am stressed, I have not been selfish enough to put my needs together, I have not taken breaks when I need, and now everybody is feeling the ramifications of that. And so I think we have to look at it from both ends. We're trying to be giving, we're trying to be serving, but then what are we doing on the back end when we don't take care of ourselves? We're having our families deal with the fallout of our unwellness almost. I don't want to say it in a triggering way for some of you, but our mental health is just as important as our physical health. If you wouldn't want to burden your family with being, down with the flu or what have you, you also need to think about that when it comes to mental health. Now, we can't stop everything, but like you said, we can put some good habits in place, some good boundaries in place to kind of help us not fall over the deep end all the time. So let's talk about women who are new entrepreneurs, because they may be pivoting from their 9 to 5, coming into entrepreneurship, and that with that has its own set of amazing challenges. Amen. So if they are trying to make that shift while still, having some type of mental health well-being, what are some things that they can do as they pivot or transition into the world of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so I would say, in the example, if it is someone who's transitioning from a 9 to 5 into full-time entrepreneurship, I would say before you make that transition, plan it out. I know we have the thing where, just get out and do it, which is good because it gets us moving, it gets us going. But I love to say, get out and do it with a plan, because you don't want the ramifications to come at you later and add more stress to you. So when you're looking at the ideas that you have, or, whether it's a service-based business, product-based business, you can minimize a lot of the stressful impacts later from the beginning by making sure that you have the right price points. You have the plan as far as, you're including, your mission, your vision statement, um, your financials, like where you want to look like for the next few years and everything. You want to be able to include, like, what is your target audience at that moment before you even get started? Because I've seen a lot of people still, in business, and they're tracking along, but they're like, okay, I still can't find my target audience. You may not have created the right product or service from the beginning to reach that audience. So being able to do a lot of these things at the beginning, it will minimize a lot of the impact. And then, because when you're going into full-time entrepreneurship, you are that breadwinner. Everything you do is based upon how well you plan, how well you market, and how well that branding strategy comes out of the business plan that you have. So I see a lot of people that skip those steps, but also, I don't want to not mention this. Also, have a personal plan. It is
Mm.
important for you to not only look at it like, oh, I'm ready to quit this job, I'm ready to go into this, but even if you already have a side business and it's already operative, make that personal plan too. Just don't be so overwhelmed with your job that you're like, I'm ready to quit tomorrow. And I'm just going to leap in faith and do this. Having faith is excellent, but faith without works is dead. So you want to make sure that you have the plan, because the plan sustains the faith in everything that you do and make sure it comes to fruition, right? So have the personal plan, look at yourself where you say, okay, I'm going to set a goal. And I love being able to pair this together. You set a goal, maybe it's 2 or 3 years to leave the job. You can take some of your money and put it in a CD account for that same 2 to 3 years and let that be your startup money, or something that's going to help transition you a lot better. You want to minimize your household expenses. So that way that's less expenses that you need to be concerned about when you do go full force into your business. So there's a lot of little things that I think that we don't really consider on the personal side, because we're ready to get out, or we got overwhelmed with our jobs and we just ready to move with a plan as far as with your personal life, plan it out for your business. So in that way you have that way to go. If you're pivoting in your business, whether you're, side business or full-time, don't be afraid to pivot. Some things, the shifts do happen. And a lot of times it can happen because maybe it was poor planning in the beginning, or it can happen because you were successful, but now you hit a ceiling. So don't be afraid to shift and know where the current is taking you. And if that current and that shift in your business still have, if you still have the skill sets for you to say, okay, well, I could pivot this way because I have that skill set to monetize, look at it from that point. If you need help, definitely go and hire someone to help you to be able to see. Sometimes people on the outside looking into your business will help you a lot more than you just being in your business, attached to it from the heart and everything else in your mind and what you want to do. Having that extra, eyes to view it with you can help you along the way and give you strategies.
Yeah, I hear you. And I feel like you are calling some people out. I know some people are adjusting themselves in their seat while they're listening. Like, is she talking about me? I'm like, she is. Because you already said when your boss say one more thing to you, you've done, because you about to start a business anyway. but but yeah, having a plan is so important. And I love that you touched on a lot of the foundation things. Having a really strong foundation is really going to be that springboard to launch you into the results that you want for your business. Knowing your client avatar, knowing where your money's coming from, how much money you got to spend, what you're going to spend it on, knowing what products and services you're going to provide to what target audience, what are your competitors doing? Like, all of those things are so important. And those aren't the fun parts of business, but those are some of the most important aspects that we can get through before we go and start investing in different things and making moves, because you're going to be real mad when you made all those moves and then you come back and it's like, oh, that's not really what I needed to do or to focus on. And that's why I'm not getting the results that I thought I was going to get. So I'm happy you calling us out on the podcast, making us feel some type of way, because we need it sometimes. We need to hear the truth because we're sitting here telling ourselves any and everything, right? Oh,
Yeah.
well, I ain't gonna worry about this business plan. Or I had a client that told me if I build it, they'll come. I said, okay, you try that.
Just
And
that
then she
field of
came back and was like,
dreams.
I know. I was like, girl, no, ma'am, that's not how it works. You're gonna have to get out here and market this and knock on some doors. And she was like, oh, I didn't know that. Because I think back in the day, if you had the best product in town, then you were the go-to person. But this is 2023, or whenever you listen to this podcast, and gone are those days, because no matter how unique your service is, more than likely somewhere in the world there's somebody offering at least something similar. And because people have options, you really have to have your mess together. Okay, you got to have it together, and you have to be able to say why people should do business with you over your competitors. And you don't have to say it like that, but there are ways to show your uniqueness, your unique selling point, so that people want to do business with you. Because I'm not in the place of convincing nobody. I'm going to show you the results, and you're going to already want to work with me.
Exactly. And then also would like to add,
Mhm.
don't notice that a lot of people skip the process. They skip the steps. Don't
Yes.
skip the steps. In this business age and generation that we're in, it's all about the quick fix. You know, People go straight for a branding strategy, but they don't even have a foundation built. They go straight for a sales strategy, but they don't have the foundation built. And I look at it like from this. If the sales strategy and the branding strategy is successful, how can you
Mm.
retain your clients or customers if you don't have the foundation built? So I see that way too often. You have to have the full picture. Like you said, you want to be able to give the demographic. You want to be able to say, this is what my competitor is doing. That comes from research. That comes from building that business plan. And a
Yeah.
lot of times people look at that plan being as, oh, I just needed to go for the investors. I needed to go for funding, take it to the bank and things like that. No, big corporations use their business plan a part of their business review every quarter and every year. So when you're looking at that, you want to look at that business plan and say, okay, did I meet my goals for this year? Did I do this? What do I need to tweak? If you're transitioning, what do I need to put? Do I need a technology plan? All
Mm.
these things that you may not have put in the beginning, you could put in it now and go forward and know that you have these milestones that you're meeting. So it's more than just, oh, I'm just going to take it to the bank. No, you want to take that into your future and know that that's what you're doing. You're hitting those points.
I love that. And I think people need to stop thinking their business plan is a one and done thing. It is a living document. It is an ever changing document. If you don't have, you should have it sitting next to you, helping you make all of your business decisions. Because a lot of you are saying yes to things you should be saying no to, and saying no to things you should be saying yes to because you're uncomfortable or you just don't have clarity. That document is what you should be leaning on. That document is something that all of your team should be looking at so that you're all on the same page. It's your vision for your business, and it should be looked at frequently and adjusted as needed. You don't have to wait to the end of the year. Adjust that thing. You see, oh, I was wrong about that, or this gonna cost me more than this. Like, go ahead and update it, and use it as a way to steer you in the right direction.
Yeah.
So you mentioned kind of the things that you were seeing in your industry, because I know you've been working with clients for some time. Can you tell us some of the ways in which you personally work with clients to help them through this? Because we talked about, hey, we realize now we got some mental health struggles. We need to work on that. We realize that our foundation may be a little rocky, right? We got that house made of straw. We need to work on that and get it made of bricks. So how do you work with clients to help us get through these challenges?
Yeah, so I love working one-on-one. I love that touch point with the people, with my clients. But and how I work with them, I include mindset coaching as well as coaching on the business side with applying business practices and strategies. I love being able to go into their business and look and audit everything that they have currently going on to where we can make it work a lot better, be more effective, efficient, and productive. Also, a lot of times I am coming across people who, you have that limiting belief. One thing that I really firmly believe in is the fact that the blueprint of success begins with you. So I love being able to have that holistic vibe in entrepreneurship, because our business is a reflection of who we are. And so when we look at it from that standpoint, then we can get ourselves together. So I love being able to first do the whole mindset piece to make sure that they understand where they are, they know what they want, and then how we're going to go after it. And then on the other side of it, we deal with the business side of it, because a lot of times you're putting yourself into what you're planning for your business. So then there are ways that we have to, double back. And create that strong strategic process. And that's how I work with my clients with that, the mindset, strategic process, how we look at marketing, being creative in marketing and the branding piece of it. So I do include on the marketing side, all forms of marketing, not just social media, because I really believe when you're building your footprint should be built overall digitally as well as traditionally. So I include all those things, all those factors in when I'm working with my clients. And, I just try to keep it real with them. I do a lot of the done with you services. But if there is a need for me to do a done for you, then I have written out the business plans, the marketing plans, the branding strategies, the PR, everything that's needed. So yeah, you get a full business suite with me
Okay, I
of
like that.
services when we work together.
Yes, she said the full business suite. Okay, whether you want it done with you or done for you, she got you. I
Yes.
love that. And so, because I want to make sure everybody gets what they need, even though we only got 30 minutes, y'all. Like, she got years of experience. You're gonna have to hit her up to get all the details for you specifically. Because I know you like, ask her this question, ask her that question. Look, I'm doing my best, y'all. But can you give us, before we close out, three things to avoid?
Mm.
Right? Because we talked about a lot of things, but I just want to recap. What are the three things that we're gonna mess around here and do? Three things to avoid to make sure that we still have a healthy, that's a physically healthy, mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, whatever you want to call it, healthy, sustainable business. So what can we avoid to make sure that we don't end up falling off that deep end?
Yeah, so I would say first off is avoid the negative voice in your head,
Mm.
that tells you, oh, no, you can't do this, or everybody else is doing this. And no, don't even listen to that person, because if you have the idea is attached to your purpose. So go ahead and flow that out with a plan. Number two, definitely plan. Avoid not planning, and avoid the fact that people always say you don't have to do this. No, you should do this. And that's going to help you, sustain your business. It's about sustainability and longevity. Profitable is excellent, is going to come. That's an excellent result of what you're doing, but you want to sustain it and you want it for long term. And then the third thing is avoid the noise. There's a lot of chatter out here. We as women, we are easy to compare ourselves. We say, oh, well, this lady, she's doing this business the same as I am, but she's scaling and I'm not. Don't look at that, because you don't know what that person had to go through to get there. You don't know what they're doing to get there. But all you know is what you need to do to get to your point of destination. So focus on you, focus on your business, and make it be the best that it is. Don't be afraid to pull back. Don't be afraid to set boundaries, and don't be afraid to make the change. I had to pivot and shift in my business. And here I am right now doing something I thought that I would never do. And that is showing up, being this brand. So know that you can do it, get outside your comfort zone and just own it.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Get outside your comfort zone and just own it. And if you need support, if that sounds like, hey, I cannot do that alone, how can they get in touch with you so that you can drag them along now, help them out so that they can show up as their true, authentic best selves?
Yes, yes, yes. I would love to. So I have this new thing. I'm just having people to just text me. Like I said, I love the personal part of it. So text me to 1-833-273-8983 and say, hey, I need you to pull me out. Or, if you just want to work with me, just let me know. I have freebies, I have downloads, I have a 9 to 5, exit strategy I can send to you, and marketing strategies that I give out for free. So yeah, just connect with me this way and let's do this.
All right, awesome. Well, I thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Definitely connect with Sacha if you are looking to get those foundations taken care of, but also have a concrete plan for your growth and your sustainability in your business. I loved everything we talked about today. And just remember, you're a whole person. You're not just an entrepreneur. And if you enjoyed this conversation and you want to hear more conversations just like this as we bring on experts, I do encourage you to listen to past episodes. And also, we drop a new video and a new podcast every single week. So I look forward to speaking with you again. And again, thank you to our guest, Sacha, for being in the building. And we
Thank
will
you.
talk to you soon.